And now we're going to talk about insufficient logging and monitoring, one of my favorite topics. Let's see why it's important. So here we are with our login screen we've used a few times before in various iterations. And here we have the code for it that's supporting it. And we see that we have the same admin from before. And here you'll see that we are posting an error log when login failed. So let's see how that works. We have our admin, and then we use something else, test, and then you see your credentials were not correct, and then you are logged in. So what is happening when the credentials were not correct? So we just see it says login failed. So login failed by itself is not really a lot of information. It's not really providing us with everything about how the user was coming in, what they were doing. And so we want to add a little bit more to this. And that's really where insufficient logging comes in, because now we have this login failed. So imagine that we just have someone who's sitting here and keeps trying. And they go back, because we tell them go back and try again. So they try again. And then they try again. And you see that the logs are just showing a bunch of login failed, but it's not really letting us paint any sort of picture of what might be going on. So what we really want to do is here where we have this error log, we want to start adding some more details. So let's take a look at what that looks like. You see that with a lot of these, we have a IP and a port that gets posted. So that's what we're going to try and add here as well. We want to see the same thing for failed login. So the way that we do that is we use this special collection inside of PHP, the server variables, and we're going to add remote address to the log statement. And so when now login fails, you'll see it's showing the IP. So we also want to see the port on where the connection is coming in from. So let's take a look at that. We will add one more. Okay, there we go. And you'll remember that the pattern has this kind of colon in the middle. There we go. Now it's starting to look more like these. And then the last thing we need is this HTTP status. So I believe that one's slightly different. And so we're going to look and see what that is like. And I think that is the correct syntax here. Let's see. Something it's not liking. Let's see. Ah, yes. Okay, let's look at our output. And there we go. It's now showing this 200, but we don't have the formatting, so we can take care of that next. We can add a little square brace on each side of it. And I think maybe there's a space here. Yeah, it looks like there's a space and a colon on the other end of it, which we have already. So let's take a look again. And there we go. Now we have a uniform format for our logs, and we can continue adding to this. Actually, we can add some more information like this. And then And then that way, when the login fails, we have this clearly searchable signature in the logs for the failed logins. And what that does for us is that it lets us see where the login failures were happening through some kind of tool, like a dashboarding tool like Splunk or Sentry or any of the many great DevOps tools that are out there today. And those will let us accumulate all the similar tags into things we can drill down into and search based on and set up monitoring and alerts. And the better and more detailed our logging, the better it is for us from a security standpoint, from a user service, customer service perspective. So having detailed logs is really great, but you definitely don't want to do things like go too far and log passwords. Sensitive data like social security numbers, passwords should be left out of the logs, filtered out, and we should focus on things that actually tell us a story about what the user is encountering in the system and how the system is behaving. And that helps to remediate the insufficient logging and monitoring vulnerability.